Hi everybody, welcome to Fossil Hunting and Collecting with Chris, the search for the Lost Golden Trilobites Part 2. In this episode, I'd like to tell you a story about my friend Ray. You may remember Ray from some of our other episodes. Ray is a field trip leader for the New York Paleontological Society. He's been taking people on trips for years. He's appeared in many of our Penn-Dixie adventures. So are we excited about going back to Penn-Dixie?
Yeah!
All right. Gonna find anything this time?
No!
And he has recently appeared in our Dig with the Experts films.
I'm not one of the experts.
Well, my friend Ray and I were talking on the phone about fossils and things like that, and he was telling me things on his bucket list. Bucket lists are things that you want to do during your lifetime. And one of the things that he said he wants to do is to dig in the Lost Beecher's Trilobite bed. And he thought he had an idea where it might be. And quite ironically, my friend Gus and I had just actually purchased a small piece of that property where the trilobites are found. We actually have a very small claim in it, which had been recently found after being lost for 100 years. You can see more about the story behind this in my first episode, this Lost Golden Trilobites Part 1. But anyway, these trilobites were lost for about 100 years, and Ray has been among the people looking for them. He had recently been to a different one called the Walcott Rust Quarry, which also is one of these very enigmatic and very historical places in the New York area that had been written about by scientists in the previous century. So as soon as I got off the phone with Ray, I got on the phone with my friend Gus. Gus and I had just recently gotten permission to purchase a small piece of the claim on this long lost trilobite bed, and asked him if it would be okay if we let him come for a day to work on our little portion of the claim. And Gus was okay with that. And so I was able to take Ray up to see this place that he always wanted to find. So on day 2, I'm going to be working with Ray on our piece of the claim of the Beecher's Trilobite bed. And my friends, as always, I'm going to ask you to please go ahead and hit the like button if you like these videos. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe. Subscribing will make more fossil-like videos pop up on the YouTube feed. Thank you, and here we go. All right, so we are working the upper layers of the Beecher Trilobite bed, and Ray has found a really nice little trilobite. Looks like the head and the body are in there, probably the whole thing. It is small. They all tend to be small in this place.
Not
pyritized. And it's not pyritized. We're hoping for pyritized. But this is a good find. If you look at it with a microscope, you might be able to actually see some appendages if they're preserved at all in there, because this is known for appendage preservation. Good find, Ray. All right, now I found one. Nice little trilobite. And the negative. Gonna take very good care of this because I haven't found, this might be the first complete trilobite I've found at this site. Get right out of this little hole right here. One of the things that we're trying to find here is the trilobite Triarthus etone. This is the one that Charles Beecher had discovered back in the late 1800s and was really spectacular because of its pyrite preservation. Preservation is so good that very often the appendages of these trilobites can actually be seen. And so this gives us some of our first idea of what trilobite appendages look like. More of this can be seen once again in part 1 of the video. I'll also go into the breakdown of the different layers and where they are likely to be found. But one of the prizes that we might be able to find at this site are the trilobites Triarthus etone. These are the ones that we're finding in these layers are probably not going to be the pyritized ones. They're probably going to be lacking that really fine preservation. But we're going to be looking through every layer as we get down there. So enjoy. Okay, we just had a double. Ray just found one.
I set it there. There's the trilobite.
There's the trilobite.
Except the head's under there.
And heads.
How do you fix those things?
Very gently.
Well, I wouldn't even hazard it.
A dental tool or something like that.
Is that something you can do?
I've never tried it on this. So when in doubt, just put it aside till you are that skilled.
Find somebody?
Or find somebody. Yeah, actually, you could probably get Malcolm to do it for you.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and I found one too. It actually was pyritized, had a nice gold color to it, but then it dried and turned white. So I'm guessing the moisture makes it look that goldish color. But you can actually see some of those rarely, looks like some of those rarely seen appendages, which is what we're looking for.
Ooh!
Yeah. Another, is that on the same one?
There's the negative and there of the other one. And
you have two of them on one rock. Oh my God, that is awesome.
well, in Mike's honor, I'm going to go set it over there someplace.
Yes. Say, Mike, we left 2 trilobites up there for you. Just had to find them.
Mike, I went to this great site. I got a double, and I decided to leave it someplace for you.
This way you'll have the fun of finding it yourself, Mike.
Where the hell did I put it?
So just like last time. Last time a snake went on my foot, this time one crawled up near my butt.
He was trying.
All right, have a really tiny one now. So there's the tiny trilobite. Zoom in. Now here's how tiny these things are. On this rock, look on the edge right down there. There's the tiny trilobite. Break time.
Now that I'm up, if I sit back down, I may not get back up.
So I've had some more luck at a trilobite over here a little bit earlier. And this over here looks like it's also going to be a trilobite. It looks like it's covered by a thin layer of mud, but I'll probably be able to get that off, no problem. So we are having a really good day out here. Nice day, having a lot of fun, and finding some really good fossils.
And we're pretty good fossils ourselves.
That's true. Alright, so there was a rumor that we could stay here overnight, so we did. Just set up a tent, camped out right by the fossils. Yeah. Hey, here is Ray. Hello, Ray.
Morning, people.
Fossils.
What happens at Camp Stacey?
Fossils are right down this embankment, right down in the creek. Over by that bucket is where we were working. So we're seeing the creek from up above now. Beautiful morning. So last night, when we were camping out, we heard noises down by the site that we were digging at. We're not sure if it was raccoons or a curious bear, but something went down there last night to take a look at what we're doing, and we're pretty sure it was a sizable animal.
Oh, another one.
All right, we're at day 2 here, and if you wonder why I haven't brought you in the camera, because we haven't found squat today. We really haven't found much at all. Did get through a bunch of layers, but we kind of expected these to be layers that didn't have too much, but we still had fun. Got a couple of partial stuff. Oh, and Ray found a really interesting, we're not sure whether it's a coral or a bryozoan or possibly even pyritized algae, but it's really unusual. I'll show you what that looks like. So this was a great trip. I was so glad I was able to get Ray to come with me and see the Beach's trilobite bed, the thing that had been on his bucket list to do, and he finally has a chance to check that one off now. Trilobite. Now let me show you some of the pieces that I took home. So what we're looking at here is a piece that has a little bit of a trilobite on it. It also has some graptolite pieces. And if you notice these graptolite pieces, you can actually see them kind of flaking off. So you're getting a film of the actual graptolite itself. This other piece over here has a little brachiopod. This over here looks to me like a sponge. I'm going to try and zoom in on this. You can really recognize these from the spicules besides the sort of golden color of it. So I think I'm looking at a sponge over here. And here is a Triarthus. So I recognize the fossil. It's not a great example, but at least I know that it's here. Here's an example of the cephalopods that we're finding. Here's one right over here. Here's another one right over here. So the cephalopods are here. They also have a little bit of the pyrite, but what we're really looking for is the pyritized trilobites that may have appendages. And over here are some of the tiny pyritized brachiopods. The only reason you can see them at all is because there's a tiny little bit of pyrite around them. So this is what we find over here. Not very big fossils, they're actually tiny, but they have pyrite. This looks like a bryozoan, or at least the hole where one used to be. So I'll have to take a very close look at that with a microscope. I think we might be looking at a bryozoan. So here's that trilobite. It looked like it was pyritized when we first pulled it apart, but when it dried it turned white. I'm hoping that we might be able to see some appendages. I'm going to look at this with a microscope, and if we do, then well, that'd be a really, really good thing. So I found a fossil now, found a trilobite, but it is ridiculously small. I have to actually zoom in. Here's a penny. Below the penny, here is the trilobite. It is so small. I'm going to try and come closer without getting it blurry. This is what we're looking for, these tiny little trilobites. But these are the ones that may be pyritized and may actually have appendages. So this is all work for microscopes. Look how big the penny is compared to this little trilobite. Probably a triorthus, it looks like, but still very tiny. And here is the negative next to the penny, smaller than the states on the United States of America. These are these tiny little trilobites. Very hard to find, but very rewarding if you find one with appendages. All right, so I have got one now. Try and zoom in on it. Possibly a triorthus. Looks like it is. Looks like it is complete, although a little bit on its side. Oh, nice. I don't see pyrite on this one, so may not be one with those mystical or almost mythical appendages that we're looking for, but very nice trilobite. Oh, and here is a penny for scale. As you can see, this trilobite is much smaller than the diameter of a penny. Okay, got another one, another nice little trilobite. Also missing the head, but pretty close to complete, and also incredibly tiny, as you can see. And here's the other half of that trilobite. This one's pretty good. It's got the head showing. It might be enrolled. I'm not actually sure whether or not Trimeris actually enroll like a lot of other species. Maybe there's more of it in the rock. I'm not really sure. And over here is the counterpart. This is strange. This actually looks like the thorax of a very small Eurypterid. I wonder if that's possible. Another cephalopod. And here's a larger cephalopod. Is this a horn coral or a cephalopod? My guess it's a cephalopod. We got the head of a trilobite in this rock over here. See if I can zoom in on it without it going totally blurry. There we go. So, part of a Yep, I'm pretty sure I have part of a trilobite. And here's the other side of this. Looks very fragile. Better take a picture of it in case it falls apart. All right, so finally finishing up with a big one. Looks pretty big. I don't see the pyrite that we're looking for, but and it's partial, but it's a fairly big example. And yes, I do think these are Triorthus. I do think these are Triorthus trilobites. Ah, a trilobite. Here we go. It's a trilobite. Really nice one. Looks like pretty much all there. Let's take a good look at this one with a microscope. Fairly tiny, but they all are at the site. If you have any really cool trilobites that you'd like to show off, go ahead and send me a picture or a video, and I will try to post that at the end of one of my videos, with credit, of course, going to you. So my friends, thank you again so much for joining me on another one of these fossil hunting and collecting adventures. Please go ahead and give me a thumbs up to let me know that you like it. It helps out with the channel. And subscribe to see more of these fossil collecting adventures. Thank you again. Have a great day.